What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
and we're back at it to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you want to ask us a question about Warhammer 40K or about your life, anything, just comment down below. Put question in front of your question because it's easier for us to filter through all the comments and pick out the questions that way. We do this 3 times a week.
So this featured question is by
Spoon.
Not Spoon.
Not Spoon. Is Omnissiah a real god, like the Chaos Gods? Can it be a material entity? So, right off the bat, is the Omnissiah a Chaos God? No. He's not. There are rumors. Okay, so...
So, to put it simply, the Omnissiah is the entity that basically the AdMech, the Skitarii, the Legio, Cybernetica, and all that, basically Mars and all of their affiliates praise to. It's their god. Yeah, affiliates. Ooh. So he's basically the machine god, so to speak. So whenever you hear of power of the machine spirit, that's the Omnissiah blessing that vehicle or whatever it is.
What is it really? It could just be humanity's lack of knowledge towards the way a machine works.
Right.
So, for instance, we all know what Wi-Fi is, but do we actually know how it works? No, unless you are specifically, like, you know,
versed in
that area.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the same thing, or the people who are not versed in that area are the entire Imperium, basically.
Yeah.
So none of them know how their Wi-Fi works. They just know that it works.
Mm-hmm.
And when it breaks down, they do stupid stuff like pray and hope that it comes back up.
Which you probably do that nowadays.
Yeah, that's what you do now anyways.
Yeah.
But that belief that, you know, you can pray to this Wi-Fi God and it comes to life, that's what I believe the Omnissiah is. Kind of like if you watch Rick and Morty, there's an episode where there's giant space rock heads that come into the galaxy, the galaxy, and then they take Rick and Morty's galaxy and they put it up against other galaxies around the universe, and they're supposed to have a, like, American Idol type of contest, and Rick and Morty are the ones performing it, and then the rest of the civilization, all the Earthlings, don't really know anything about these giant space heads, so they start thinking that it's like there's some mystical, powerful thing, and then Rick and Morty are doing their competition, and every event that happens, the human civilization, not knowing that they're in a contest, believes that it's like their actions are in response, or the actions that the rock heads are doing are in response to their prayers, when in reality they're responding to Rick and Morty and their music, if that makes any sense.
I guess you gotta watch the episode.
Yeah, it took way too long. But there's more to this.
Yeah, basically there's 2 main theories of who or what the Omnissiah is. One of the main ones is that it's actually just the God Emperor. That he's so vast and powerful that he can be the God Emperor and the Omnissiah at the same time. Mainly because I believe it was during the Age of Strife, or when did they make the pact?
Yeah,
Mars
during the Unification Wars.
Unification Wars, yeah.
Yeah. He showed up and he actually was like, you know, Mars, quit tripping, join the
Yeah.
Imperium of Man, and the Imperium of Man was like, or Mars was like, yeah, you're right, let's join in. And they actually said that, yes, he is the
Omnissiah.
Yeah, either the prophet of the Omnissiah or the Omnissiah,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a lot of people that was like, no, he's not. But yes, that's where that comes from. But then there's another theory too.
And that theory is that underneath Mars, they have entrapped one of the powerful ancient star gods, the Catan, known as the Void Dragon. So some rumors say that it was actually the Emperor that fought against the Void Dragon and imprisoned him on Mars, and he's the one that told I guess you could call them the Martians or whatever, the Skitarii or whatever, to build on top of that and to keep him secure. So basically, all their mechanical improvements, knowledge, anything that has to do with machines is all thanks to the Void Dragon. So he is the Omnissiah that they pray to unknowingly, but obviously some of them know the secret of what they're keeping underneath or in the core of Mars or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's another big theory.
Yeah. It's interesting though because every single theory is just really the AdMech not understanding what the reality is, and then just saying, it must be a god. Right. It's a god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even though they're supposed to be all about science and whatnot, it's a weird twist.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
This one is by... Where's it at? Oh, I had one.
I have one from Ernesto Rodriguez. If Isha is supposed to be the goddess of fertility, why does she have no children?
The Eldar are her children.
Bam!
Mm-hmm. Who's the daddy? Find out in the next episode of Maury. No, but yeah, Isha is supposed to be the goddess of fertility and like rebirth or something like that. So she's the one that whispers the cures to all of the diseases of Nurgle.
And as long as she stays alive, there is hope that the Eldar can, make babies again.
That's right. She's very, very important to the lore. Here's the one that I was supposed to say earlier. So this one's by Corey. Do you think that Gabriel Seth will accept or shun the Primaris Marine reinforcements? The Flesh Terrors don't really seem to like the Ultramarine Primarch too much after dividing their original chapter due to the Codex Astartes.
I think we've answered this before.
Really?
Yeah, we did. So will they accept it, the Flesh Terrors themselves? Actually, we didn't answer this. But yeah, why not?
Well, Gabriel Seth is very against the Codex Astartes. He wanted the Blood Angels to remain whole and fight, as a collective force. So he's very, I guess, stubborn is one way to put it. So now with the Primaris Marines, and the idea is that Call and Gilliman want to spread these new Marines into every chapter and bolster their forces. I don't think he's going to like that very much, because he's probably going to see that as like heresy or a way to even shun the Blood Angels down even more. Maybe make an insurrection or something along those lines. So I doubt he's going to have any Primaris reinforcements into his chapter, but at the same time, they are a dying chapter. There's not many of them left, and with that warp rift that opened up and basically divided the galaxy in two, now they're even more in deep shit. So they're separated from the main bulk of the Space Marines, and I think they're currently fighting a Tyranid fleet. So they need the help. So we'll see if he listens to reason.
Next question comes from Uncertified Jack. Do the Kroot fight with the Farside Enclaves? They are supposed to fight only with the Tau Empire, at least not against them. Oh yeah, that's true, because they do have a pact with the Tau Empire.
Yeah.
So do they fight with the Farside Enclaves?
It's not really seen. Usually if they do fight, it's because of the Ethereals ordering it. But for the most part, Farsight protects, all Tau. So there's no reason to fight. And if they did get in engagements, I feel like they just kind of break it off.
But do they fight for Farsight? Like, are there Kroot inside the Farsight army?
Yes. Well, I mean, back in 5th edition and 6th edition, it was not allowed. But now with 7th edition, they allowed it. And I think in the 8th edition codex, you could still run Kroot. Yeah.
Cool. Carson Kazmiri. Who would win in a fight? The Death Guard Dreadnought, Huron Fowl, or the Emperor's Children Dreadnought, Rylanor? Rylanor,
that sounds pretty cool.
Next question.
This one's by Armand Dwinget. Does GA have any interest?
GW probably.
Does GW have any interest into finishing all the cliffhangers they have dropped? For one of my examples, the Oathkeeper helps in watching fortresses and their origins, but it is hard to communicate. Is it somehow connected to the Omega Gate and the Warp, basically?
No, they don't want to. They're not gonna go back and answer those types of cliffhangers. What I see them doing is creating more books and stuff, and kind of shying away from putting lore in the codexes, because that's why we got data sheets. We don't have the codexes
we don't have any
anymore.
codexes. Yeah.
Which is kind of sucks, because now I gotta buy a book instead of just having the codex.
Well, now you gotta buy 2 books, because you gotta buy the index in order to play, and then you gotta buy your codex to get all the new lore.
Straight bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
This one's by... Whoops. Uh-oh. There it is. Another Armand Juingant. Do the Grey Knights ever feel remorse for killing the loyal Imperial Guard and citizens that fight alongside them? No. They basically... They see them as like a hindrance. Like, oh, this little Humie, you know, his life means nothing. So, it's like... As long as we get to destroy this demon invasion, we can destroy this whole sector, world, or whatever.
Florian, if you could redesign any model, which one would you choose?
Ooh, definitely Gaskell.
I want to say Gaskell.
That's why I said it, because I knew you were going to say it. But he looks
square.
Yeah, he looks very bulky and not orc-like at all.
And like, so an orc war boss is supposed to be charging at you and look menacing. Gaskell cannot be menacing when he's doing this.
That looks menacing.
But his weapons are pointing down. They're not even pointing towards the attack or the prey. He's just pointing down. Like, what are you gonna do? Stomp all around the ground or some shit? You can use your power claw to dig. Bob the Builder looking mother.
Yeah.
So
who would you change?
Let's see. Who have I played against that has really stupid looking army?
The Imperial Guard?
No, not really. Their tanks look really nice, and I've always liked the look of the Imperial Guardsmen themselves. If anything, again, I'd go back to the orcs. The war buggy, the war track, all that shit is ridiculous looking. Like, I think it came out in 2nd edition, so
that's probably why.
Like, why are you gonna have something in the codex that looks like something you would get out of a 50-cent machine? Because that's what it looks like.
Not just that, but I feel like the proportions are really off. Like that one, what is it, buggy you have? The orcs that are driving it look like swole Gretchen.
Yeah. And it's not difficult to create one 2-piece model, because you've done that for the Death Copters. So do it for a war buggy. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Alright, this one's by All Might. Speaking of orcs, can orcs live indefinitely, or do they die if they don't fight?
That's a good question.
I know if they fight, they get like bigger and tougher.
Yeah. But no, so like if they're aggressive, they're naturally aggressive, so they're going to be aggressive towards whatever there is in the world, which is why I think they could like survive for so long. So if you have an orc by himself, he lands on a planet, that orc has no one to fight with, no one to be aggressive with. He's still going to be aggressive towards the things around him. He's going to try to burn things down, because that's what Burna Boys do. He's going to try to like build things to make things explode, and in the process he's gonna kill himself, because that's what orcs do. So his head would be blown off, spores would be released, and now you have multiple orcs, and those orcs would fight amongst themselves, and then
etc.
Yeah. So they do live indefinitely, but no orc is ever going to be able to live indefinitely.
So basically you're saying if you get one orc, then you're going to have an invasion of orcs, essentially.
Yeah, you can never get rid of orcs unless you do Exterminatus and kill everything. But even then, they'll survive.
Mm-hmm.
Last question.
Tom Bombaldi.
Bombaldi.
Could a Grey Knight ever be corrupted by chaos? And has it ever happened before?
No and no.
Yeah. Grey Knights are the most pure mofos in the world. Their gene seed is rumored to be that of the Emperor himself. So there's no known instances of Grey Knights falling to chaos. Although, it is rumored that there is a Silver Knight of Slaanesh that fights for her in her realm, or his realm, its realm. And there's a lot of rumors saying that this is actually Drago, since he's the only known Grey Knight to actually, I guess, be in the warp. So hopefully it's not a cliffhanger, and we actually find out who this Silver Knight is, and whatever happened to Drago. So
there you go. Those were the questions for this week. If you guys have more questions, please comment down below.
As always, hit us up on our social media sites. We do Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, and Facebook.
Yeah, we're actually getting into more discussions on Facebook. So if you like these types of videos and you want to interact with us a little bit more, Facebook is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. And that's all we got for you guys. As always, we do this 3 times a week, so catch us next time. I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
We are One Mind Syndicate, and we are out of here.
Amigos, sabes, acabo de conocer